Hello everyone, it's Jack Cotton, luxury real estate expert, author, and agent. I'm here inside my beautiful, luxurious, but not overly ostentatious Cape Cod office, ending our series today on great seller communication. You know, no matter how well you communicate with your sellers, sometimes the listing just drags on the market forever and ever. Maybe they're not realistic with the price. Maybe the market is just slow where you are. I know that in different parts of the country, the market's on fire right now, but sometimes you need to have a conversation with your seller to put them in the right frame of mind for a price adjustment. And the way we do that is through what we call future pacing. So it really boils down to almost coaching your seller, because if you tell a seller sometimes you need to cut your price, then you start to get this resistance and the relationship goes downhill from there. So if you think of it as a coaching session with your seller, it's likely to go a lot better and be more productive, and you might wind up with a price reduction. So some questions you can ask your seller is, how long did the real estate market actually rise before the most recent peak? Well, the most recent peak for us was 2004, 5, or 6, somewhere in there. And the market was on the rise for a good 8 to 10 years. It took a long time to reach that peak. How long has the current slowdown lasted? Or how long has the current market situation lasted? For many markets, like in my market, it's been a couple of years now. You know, people always say, how's the market? The market's great. There's a lot of activity. There's a lot of sales. There's a lot of interest. It takes 2 or 3 weeks to book a home inspector. They're all backed up. But prices in my market really have not come back yet. So it depends on your definition of what's a great market. If your definition is great prices, that would not be our market. It's really a great market from a transaction standpoint. But you want to ask them, how long has the current market situation lasted? In our case, it's been a couple of years. So what is actually picking up? Is it prices? Is it confidence? Or is it actual prices? Again, in many markets, like in Boston and on the West Coast and DC, prices are increasing, but in our market, it's confidence and volume, but certainly not prices. But don't tell the seller this stuff. Ask them what their perception is, and then when they answer, you can give them information that reinforces or gives them better information so they can come up with a better answer. You know, how much longer is the current state of prices likely to continue, Mr. and Mrs. Seller? Do you think we're going to see prices increase in the near term or not? What do you think? And then ask your seller, have we hit the bottom? I thought we hit the bottom a year or so ago, but we're still sort of bouncing along the bottom. How long do you think we'll remain there? Again, and what will the recovery look like? Ask questions, don't tell. Let your seller come up with the answers. They will, like when you're being coached, you will come up with the answers yourself, and they're more believable. So, you know, I think a lot of sellers think the recovery in prices will look like this. Maybe it will. Ask them that. Or maybe you think it'll look more like this. This is kind of how we were. We're like a W. We bounced along. Prices came up a little bit, then they went back down again, and hopefully they'll come back up again. But give your seller some illustrations of what you think the market might look like. Maybe it's going to be a long, drawn-out thing where you are before prices start to rise again. You know, a lot of sellers think that it's going to be just a total V and a complete bounce back. I think this is what sellers are expecting when they watch the media, especially when the media reports about what's happening in other markets around the country. Certainly not what's happening here in our resort market. So how long do you think, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, that it'll take for prices to get back to where they were in 2005 or 6? What do you think? You know, when prices drop, you know, if prices drop 50%, they have to increase 100% just to get back to even. I think a lot of people don't really realize that. You know, the NASDAQ, for example, the stock market peaked in 2000 when it hit 5,000. Well, it took 15 years later, early in 2015, for it to hit 5,000 again. So that's a long time to get back to the peak. So how long do you want to wait for the market to come up to the price you want to receive for your property? How long do you want to wait? Because the market will come back. I just cannot tell you when. If you want to sell a home in today's market, we need to adapt to and adjust to and be real to the market we have today. So in conclusion on this series, communication is the absolute key to keeping your market to keeping your listing in any market. Communication is the key. Managing expectations, however, is encouraging sellers to think about where the market is and where it's going to be headed. You know, we get into trouble in life in general and with our sellers specifically where we don't meet expectations. The best way to meet expectations is to tell the seller what they should be and then meet or exceed them. You do that through the communication plan, and you do that through the future pacing we talked about here today. So I hope that makes sense for you. Give me your comments. I've had some great comments throughout this series about how you're increasing your seller communication and how you're improving your seller communication. And I love hearing those. And I'll share those with the others on the first Tuesday of the month when we do luxuryrealestateunplugged.com. Go to this website, luxuryrealestateunplugged.com. Check it out. It's the best deal in luxury real estate coaching on the planet. Until next time, make it a great week.